Hi guys, it's Han here. Today we are going to checking out 2024 top trim of Honda Odyssey. Welcome to subscribe my car reviews channel both in English and Chinese. Thanks to K Chen. Buy Honda from Chen. Thank you for subscribing, liking, comment, sharing and light up the bell. Odyssey is very popular in US market. The first product was launched in the United States in model 1995. The current product is its 5th generation product, which was launched on 2018 model, a facelift on 2021 model. The dimensions are exactly the same as before. Nothing changed on 2024 model. The top trim weighs 4,590 pounds. Front McPherson, rear multi-link structure suspension. All equipped with 3.5-liter V6 engines and 10-speed automatic transmission. Front-wheel drive only. Fuel tank capacity 19.5 gallons. In combined condition, Odyssey can run 22 miles in 1-gallon gas according to EPA. There is no change on trim level on 24 model. Same as the previous 23 model. Just MSRP without shipping fee has increased by $350, $500. $30 was added to the shipping fee. The one we check out today is a top trim on 2024 model, standard with Honda sensing. Equipped with active noise reduction, 11-speaker audio. Two 3555R19 wheels. The engine, transmission, and final assembly of the vehicles are all from plants in the United States. The overall shape is not found to be any different from the 23 model. The front face is shorter in terms of length and height, and it has a relatively large angle streamlined shape. Upper edge of light group. A relatively wide electroplated bright strip runs through left to right. The design of the lower light group is also relatively narrow, but it is not as narrow or as fierce as its new generation brothers. The grille is also pure black. The position of the traditional bumper appears relatively rounded, with a slightly protruding platform design. The top model has a light group design under the bumper. Those are fog lights and turn signals. The design below the traditional bumper position is relatively simple and not as complicated as today's vehicle design. In the current Odyssey, we can also see the traditional design style of these minivans in the US market, which we have talked about many times before. The vehicle's center of gravity is designed to be lower, giving consumers driving experience closer to that of a sedan. The hood and passenger cabin have an integrated design. It has a box-like feel. The streamlined angle of the front windshield is relatively large. Everyone knows that the design style of these minivan products currently on the market has changed a lot. Even in the US market, the design style of minivan products has changed to some extent. Nowadays, one is due to the requirements of local regulations, and the other is the SUV hot. Everyone likes SUV products, so manufacturers have also put the design of minivan products, leading to the style of SUV design. You can see that many traces of SUV design can be found in today's new minivan products. As the Odyssey, it still adheres to the design style of the more old-school American minivan products. From my personal point of view, I still prefer this style. The sidelines are relatively elegant. We have seen this before, whether it is the waistline or the chrome strip under the curtain. Both looks more elegant. The track of the side sliding door is also hidden in the lower edge of the rear window in a very old-fashioned way. We can often see this design on previous minivan models that are not too tall. The rear-view mirror functions of the top model are relatively higher in family, can be power-folded, anti-dazzle, and heated. Also a turn signal on it. After opening the door, we can see that the Odyssey's floor is relatively low. It is more convenient to get in and out of the vehicle. I believe that even children will have no problem getting in and out of the car. No need to use any pedals. The front door opens at a normal angle. The rear sliding door is very convenient in small and narrow parking spaces. The lower edge of the body is not covered by the door. Glass of the 4 windows in the first 2 rows are all double glazed, which is very good. Is also a unique feature of the top trim. The low and mid-end models of the entire series use 18-inch wheels, and the high-end models use 19-inch wheels. The wheel shape of this top trim is a special shape for the top model. The braking systems are all the same across the series. The front disc uses a 12.6-inch diameter ventilated disc, 13-inch diameter solid disc for rear disc. The spoiler is the same color as the body as a unique feature of the top trim. You can see that the body is white, so the wing is same color white color too. There is a door frame type aerodynamics kit on both left and right. The wiper is not integrated under the spoiler, which is a separate design. There is a circle of chrome-plated bright strips on the lower edge of the window, extending from the side windows to the rear one. A black decorative strip runs through the two lamp groups on the left and right, embellished with chrome plating. We can see, no matter in front or rear part, it seems to have a relatively low center of gravity. There is no design that is relatively high-end like today's minivan products. There is a design where the bumper protrudes from the platform below. The design below the traditional bumper position seems relatively simple. A very thick exhaust is placed on the right side. A hidden design. Since it debuted relatively early, it doesn't have any functions such as lights and speakers on the rear tail panel inside. Just a plastic cover in it. You can see the lower edge of this trunk. It is even lower than the lower edge of the trunk of some sedan products, so in daily life, whether buy some big items at home or put strollers, loading and unloading are easier, can put them in the trunk without lifting them too high. As a standard feature of the American minivan, if there is no deep hole in the trunk, as a member of the American minivan, too embarrassed to say hi to its peers, Odyssey's trunk pit is undoubtedly qualified. Left side you can see there is a storage each above and below. Here is the fuse. In the previous version, the top model also had a vacuum here, but now it has been cancelled. On the upper right side is the 12-volt charger socket, below is the storage, a subwoofer here. Like old-school American minivan products, all have spare tires. Currently, all Odyssey products also retain the spare tire, which is placed under the floor of the second row. There are a lot of hooks under the third row of seats, which is very useful in daily life. With the third row of seats folded down, the trunk is very flat. This is basically enough to get by. The second row seatbacks can all be folded down. If you are still not satisfied with this, the second row of seats can be completely removed off. Just becomes a van. It used to be compulsory for minivan products in the US market that the second row of seats could be removed and the third row could be folded down into the hole. Sitting inside, I didn't feel any difference between the 24 model and the 23 model. The overall shape is consistent with other trims. The design of the center console has a relatively strong sense of hierarchy. The central screen is not too abrupt and rises upward, but it didn't tilt toward the driver's side. All four windows have one touch on and off functions, the buttons for the sliding doors, for the trunk. For brake hold and parking brake are all placed on the center console to the left of the steering wheel. As a top model, it has no heads-up display. The instrument panel still uses Honda's previous common parts in North America. Middle is a relatively large LCD screen, with two physical water temperature and fuel gauges on both sides. The LCD screen does not display too much information, but very focused and clear. Moreover, the overall dashboard has a strong sense of design, which I still prefer. I personally like something that is simple and uncomplicated, but has a sense of design. The information display on the instrument panel is adjusted through the keys on the left side of the steering wheel. The steering wheel is a relatively large four-spoke style, which was a common part of Honda's before. But with the launch of a new generation of products, the style of this steering wheel has also been gradually iterated. The buttons on the steering wheel are all family common buttons. The top model has a heated steering wheel, which button is here. There are paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. The light has automatic on and off functions. The front wipers have an automatic sensing function, which is also one of the unique features of the top trim. Auto-dimming rearview mirror with garage door opener on it. The glasses case is relatively large with a panoramic mirror, which was a standard feature on these vehicles for daily life in America market before, but now it was cancelled on many vehicles. The 11-speaker audio is also one of the unique configurations of the top model, but the specific brand of Honda has not been officially announced. On mid to high-end models also comes with HD satellite radio. Android connection and iPhone CarPlay need to be plugged in. The screen display is relatively clear. Camera to back rows, talk to the back. As the top-end product, there is no panoramic view. Not as good as the previous generation. On the top-end model of the previous generation, when turned on the right signal and the screen below the middle, it can display the right blind spot. The top of this generation is not that exciting as before. Rear wide-angle view. Rear view. Overview of rear. Clarity is just fine. Air conditioning control is no longer the latest universal part of the Honda family. Only has some necessary functions. Physical buttons are left. If want to adjust more functions, you have to use the front air conditioning control button and the rear air conditioning control button. Make adjustments in central screen. The push-button shifting mechanism has been widely used in previous Honda products, but it is not used much in the new generation of products. Only used in a few models. As the top model, the two front seats have heating and ventilation functions. This car doesn't have many driving modes, but it's understandable. Minivan don't need too many driving modes. Snow mode, normal, and eco mode. Below is a disc player, which seems more old school. One USB data port on the left, middle is a 115V 150W two-phase power outlet, which is only available on mid to high-end models. Next to it is a 12V 180W charger socket. A drawer below that can be pulled out for a certain degree of privacy. There is a wireless charging pad, which is also one of the exclusive configurations of the top-end Odyssey. Open up the cover. The storage space below is very large, deep and wide. This is also a must-have configuration for the previous minivan in US version DA, which has a USB data interaction port in it, and an AUX port. In the whole car, as the top-end Odyssey of 24 models, it does not have a Type-C interface, whether data interaction or charging, on more and more electronic products nowadays. Type-C ports are widely used, data interaction and charging. Hopefully Honda can keep pace with the times. Sitting in the front row of this 24 model Odyssey, feel it is no different from the previous models. It is still the exciting first row of Odyssey. You can see I have adjusted the seat to the bottom position. The space in the first row is quite good. Among the minivans currently sold in the United States, feel that the sitting posture of the Odyssey is very close to that of a sedan. Relatively speaking, when lower the seat, sitting posture is relatively low. I like this feeling very much. Sitting in the front row, you can feel that the field of view is very wide and bright, also great. This top-of-the-line Odyssey has soft materials on top, supplemented by imitation arch lines. The decorative panel below looks like light-colored leather, but it is not. It is also made of soft material and has this kind of false arch line. Further down, it's just plastic. You can see that the lower edge of the side window is designed to be relatively low relative to the driver's height, which gives a great view. I also like this very much. The material for door panel, the upper is soft material, decorative panel, leather, hard plastic underneath. The storage on the door panels are also very rich. Another thing that we have talked about many times before, which is on the previous US minivan product. They are all designed to move the shift mechanism upward and make a through-type design from the bottom, but currently there are fewer products that do this. I believe when Honda launched new Odyssey products, it will no longer be designed like this, and will definitely be made like an SUV nowadays. One of useful features in the previous American vehicles is the height-adjustable armrest. It also retains this configuration, which I also like very much. The top-of-the-line Odyssey front passenger seat is also power adjustable, and the lumbar support is also four-way adjustable, which is good. There is also a stronger hook here. The second row doesn't feel any different from the 23 model. The designer put some thought into the second row design and the layout of the seats. The middle seat is removable. After removing it like this, the whole car becomes a 7-seater layout. After putting it on, becomes an 8-seater layout. It can be seen that the middle seat is designed to accommodate adults. This seat is relatively wide. If you don't remove it, can put the back down. It becomes an armrest, a water cup holder, and a simple storage compartment. Another way to play is to remove the middle seat. The seats on both sides can be moved laterally. If more intimate, sit closer to each other. If angry, sit a little further apart. There is another thing that is done better, which is also not very common in the current auto industry. Even though it also has a seat back can be put down as an armrest, but did not omit two armrests for the two seats on both sides. This is still very kind. Currently on this kind of auto, it's rare to see such a kind configuration. Nowadays, there is basically no armrest on one side, designed as to rest your arm on the door panel. Even the middle seat back on the other side is not high enough, just designed to forcibly rest on the back of this seat. The second row seats are very comfortable and soft. The filling material is even softer than that of the front row. We have talked about it many times before, but the seat cushion is not high or long enough to support the legs well. Apart from this, I think the seats are okay. Seat to the front, to the end, and the seat back angle to largest. As you can see, there is no problem with the space in the second row. Both headroom and legroom are good. This seat is still slightly farther back. As a top-of-the-line model, the edges of its seats are decorated with dark edging, which feels quite pretty. Rear seat entertainment systems are standard on mid to high-end models. There is an HDMI socket below. 2 USB charging ports. The rear AC can be controlled by zone, which is also one of the unique configurations on top model. The control is placed on the upper right side. On mid to high-end Odyssey models, the front two seatbacks are equipped with multi-layer storage spaces. There are sunshades and water cup holders on the door panels. Cup holder in front. The air outlet is placed on the two B pillars. Sit in the third row. Now I'm sitting upright. There is no problem with space at all. This is the legroom state adjusted the second row seats to the end. You can see from this view. The second row seats are very thick. Also have a groove for the headspace. I'm sitting upright. The head is quite far away from the top. There's still a lot of room. Very good. This is why I say that in the US market, if you want to choose a vehicle with both great trunk and third row space, they are only American full-size SUVs and minivans. This seat in the third row can feel... The seats are also relatively thick. The chair is long enough, but not high enough. There is no way to better support the legs, but the good thing is that it has a lot of space. You can have a very comfortable sitting position, so it shouldn't be too uncomfortable for adults to sit long distances. The configuration of the third row looks good. Curtain, hook, a USB charging port and a headphone jack on the left and right. Air conditioning outlet below each. Two cup holders, a 12V 180W charger socket on this side. To sum up, this is the video of 2024 top-end Odyssey. Everyone is familiar with Odyssey. There are only minivan products in 4 brands. Odyssey is also the only Japanese minivan product on the US market that is equipped with a V6 engine. The versatility of the seats and the space performance of the third row are the selling points of the North American version of Odyssey. It is also very competitive. Its disadvantage is that the second row of seats is slightly shorter. Currently, the Odyssey only have one powertrain in the US market, only front-wheel drive. Compared with Sienna, it lacks four-wheel drive models. There is no so-called off-road version of Odyssey. Of course, I personally think there is no need to make an off-road version of minivan. Everyone knows that the price of minivan products is lower than the price of SUV products of the same platform before. However, with the shortage of supply on the market, minivan products, especially these two Japanese brothers, have been hard to find for a long time. Today's prices, not only does it surpass its SUV brothers on the same platform, the price has also hit a new high. In past, a budget of around $30K bucks basically enough to buy a minivan, but now it is impossible to buy a minivan without a budget of more than 40,000 bucks. Of course, even with these problems, if you are looking for a product in the US market that has both a third row of seats and trunk space, currently there are only 2 products. One is the American full-size SUVs, and the other is the minivan product. That looks like this Honda Odyssey in this segment still has its advantages. Of course, it's still the same sentence. Buy what you like. Don't control. Don't be shy. Thank you for the above video.